maybe you are a little bit more triggered these days than usual. Maybe you feel a little bit more vulnerable, even though you don't necessarily have a particular reason for it. Maybe you are just experiencing past feelings coming up, or past versions of you, stages of your life where you have been very, very afraid and very, very alone, and feeling like it's coming back, and maybe you're afraid that you're gonna go back to feeling very afraid all the time. And maybe you have noticed that when you're really relaxed and allowing yourself to rest and actually feel happy and peaceful and trusting, that more things can start to come up. It's not because you are regressing, it's not because anything wrong is happening, it's just because you have given yourself so much space to be who you are, to feel what you feel. You have allowed yourself to really be who you are fully, so that all these past versions of you and past feelings that you've gone through can start to come up in situations where you actually feel calm or happy. Almost like they're testing you in a way, or you can feel like you're being tested, and I guess I just wanted to remind you that it's not because anything wrong is happening, or you're doing anything wrong, or it's a sign that you're regressing in any way, or that it's a bad thing. It's actually just a sign that you've created so much empathy towards yourself that you feel safe enough to feel those feelings. And it doesn't mean you're back to that state that you used to be in, where you were afraid all the time, or where you felt mistrusting. Sometimes stuff just comes up and it can feel like you're being challenged, like almost like life is saying to you, can you still relax if I bring you this very scary emotion or uncomfortable emotion or thought or whatever? Or can you still be happy if I send you this feeling of grief or fear or whatever it may be? But I don't believe that it's something that is challenging you necessarily. I believe that maybe you can resonate to this, that in the past you didn't allow yourself to be happy, or you weren't allowed to be happy. Maybe you grew up in a home where you weren't allowed to really express your emotions, including happiness. And also not allowed to relax, not allowed to rest, not allowed to take your time. If you grew up in a home that was very stressful, then that just sends a message that is the state of mind that you're supposed to be stressed and never rest and never be happy. And so there can be a resistance towards it, even though you have allowed yourself to rest and to be happy. Maybe there is a resistance to it in a way, and it's okay to have a reaction to it. It's okay that things are coming up. It's okay to allow it without having to fix it or start to think that something is wrong and you have to do something about it. I believe that it's just a sign that you've created this space of peace and happiness, and so the contrast becomes even more strong. When you feel happy and peaceful, then when you start to feel sad or feel stressed or fearful, then it just feels that much more overwhelming in a way. I'm getting a lot of shortness of breath, and like a beating heart. So I'm getting this feeling that maybe you've been feeling more afraid than usual these days. And it doesn't necessarily have to be anything in particular that you're afraid of. Maybe it's because you're feeling some things from the past and you're afraid that the past will repeat itself, that you're going to continue to be where you used to be. Like you're gonna continue to be in those states of fear and grief that you've been in for many years. Just talking about the contrast thing. Yeah, you're probably feeling the contrasts very strongly these days. That you can both feel very, very relaxed and very, very happy and peaceful and trusting, and then suddenly there can come a wave of overwhelming emotions and sadness and anxiety that can feel so heavy. And it's so easy to get caught up in those feelings, thinking that is now your new reality. I want to remind you to not attach so much to those experiences. Like you can see it as though there's just something that is coming up to the surface. It's almost like, the water is calm and the water is peaceful, the water is clear, but suddenly something from the bottom of the ocean starts to stir and starts to come up. And it doesn't mean that you're no longer in peaceful waters, that you're no longer where you need to be. You are exactly where you need to be. And also, it's okay to be afraid. It's okay to allow yourself to be afraid. There's this... I'm just being reminded of how your roots are strong and your roots are big. You have a big root net. You have a big... network of roots to keep you grounded, and you don't necessarily see it on the surface. You don't necessarily see that you have a lot of trust and a lot of strength and a lot of plant or tree going on the surface. Maybe you feel very fragile. Maybe you feel really small and weak, and like the smallest breeze can make you drop to the ground completely. But I just want to remind you of how far you've come, how strong you are, how amazing you are at being who you are, and really listening to yourself and having that sense of grounding and knowing who you are, knowing what you need, even though you might feel scared or sad. And it's okay to feel those things. Those things, they don't change the fact that you have a strong grounding, a strong root system. There can be all sorts of weather up here, but it won't affect the fact that you're grounded in who you are. You're grounded in the earth. And you are exactly what you need to be. And then we have the fire or the flame. I both got the feeling that there is this overwhelm. There's something that is burning, it's overwhelming. Some emotions that overwhelm you in these days, that it doesn't feel like a cozy little fire. It feels like a very extreme fire going on, like it's like a stormy weather, but with fire instead, like very, very, like war-like almost. I just really got this feeling that no matter how overwhelming it feels, and no matter how many feelings that you're going through. It's not so much about having to do anything about it. It's okay to just allow yourself to feel that. To just admit to yourself that you feel overwhelmed. And you don't have to do anything about it other than just allow yourself to feel it. And say to yourself that it's okay to feel afraid. Again, I'm getting a racing heart during this reading. So I'm really getting the feeling that there's something that scares you a little bit, or maybe a lot. And what I'm reminded of is that the worst thing is not the thing that scares us. The worst thing is the fear itself, the anxiety itself, that state that leaves us breathless and with a racing heart and with all these ruminating thoughts that makes our whole system panic. It's almost like your whole system is on fire, like there's this chaotic energy and almost wanting to just go do something crazy with your body, because there's so much overwhelm inside you that needs to come out in a way. And it's okay to not be calm about it. It's okay to not just sit and not react to it. It's okay to have that reaction. Allow yourself to do so, or go out into a forest and scream as loudly as you can, or scream into a pillow as loudly as you can. Because there's this feeling of a lot of energy that really wants to be released, and that energy might be, if you're bottling it up, it might give you anxiety, it might give you existential dread, it might give you a sense of doom, or like there's danger around every corner, that you can't relax, you can't be okay, you can't allow yourself to be happy, and you're constantly afraid that something's gonna spoil it or ruin it. And I just want to remind you that those things can coexist. You can be completely overwhelmed and chaotic and afraid, and at the same time you can also be peaceful, you can also be happy, you can also be grounded in the present moment, grounded in yourself. It's not one or the other. It doesn't mean that because you're feeling this overwhelm that now everything is ruined and you're just gonna regress and no good is coming for you. Like I sometimes remind myself is that good things will come to you even if you don't believe it. You don't have to believe it, you don't have to trust it, you don't have to be peaceful or calm about it. You're allowed to go crazy and be chaotic. Like just express that chaos in a way. You can express it in like physically, do something physically, like go for a run, or like do some weightlifting, or scream into a pillow, or dance, or take a cold shower. Like do something that gives you this like allows you to dance with the chaos, if that makes sense. Allows you to like take control of it in a way, instead of trying to, oh no, just breathe and just stay calm. No, don't stay calm. Like go crazy. Allow yourself to go crazy and be weird, and just do something to let that out. I'm getting the feeling that you felt you had to keep it in, and you felt you had to keep it hidden. This is also, like when I'm looking at this, I'm also getting this feeling of so many things are going on the surface, that sometimes maybe we need to pull this up and let the roots just explode everywhere, with dirt like flying everywhere, and then replant it again. Like allow yourself to if something comes up, then allow it to come up. Go with it. And this card that, in a way, when I made it, I had like two symbolisms when I saw this card. Because on one hand, I'm once again getting this feeling of, remember to do some things that you enjoy. Remember to have fun. that is one part of it. I also talked about that in the last video. But today I'm also getting that feeling of like Bambi on the ice. Like you're feeling quite fragile right now. You're feeling like you're stumbling a little bit. And again, I want to remind you that stop trying to ski perfectly. Stop trying to try and do things perfectly or be good at skiing. Like, be bad at skiing. Be bad at doing whatever you're doing. Like, do it weirdly. Do it with craziness. Be crazy about it. Be weird about it. Be chaotic about it. Like, imagine yourself on the ice like, ah! Just doing all sorts of weird things. You might be afraid of falling. You might be afraid of breaking your tooth. This is just in a figuratively sense that you don't necessarily have to go on the ice because it can be dangerous, you know. But like mentally or psychologically, you feel like you're on ice and you feel like you're stumbling around and you're afraid. You're so afraid of either feeling like you are failing or you're gonna fail or something bad is gonna happen in a little bit. Yeah, I think that's that landed something, because that feeling of if something goes well, then you feel that it's gonna go bad in a little bit, that something's gonna ruin it in a little bit. Maybe you've had that experience from childhood that you weren't allowed to be happy, or something was always ruining the joy, the happiness, the peace, and you couldn't really stay in that feeling for longer periods of time. I hope that you remember that being chaotic on the ice, like being in that state of not knowing what's going on, what's happening, it's okay to be there, and you can still find a peace and a sense of grounding in that state. You can still find an acceptance, and I think that when you allow yourself to be in that chaos and just dance with the chaos, because dancing with the chaos is not about dancing beautifully or perfectly. It's literally just about being in it, going with it, allowing yourself to go there. Because again, it's not the thing that it's not about the thing that scares you. It's about the feeling of being scared. It's that feeling of tenseness and that feeling of having to bottle it down, or like just stay calm, stay calm, stay calm, instead of actually allowing yourself to go crazy, allowing yourself to be in that chaos and find ways to express that fear instead of holding it in. And also knowing that, like, it's okay to be afraid that something is gonna ruin it. It's okay to have that fear. It's okay to allow yourself to feel that. And I think when you express that fear, then you can feel more peace about whatever is going to happen, because we can't control what's going to happen. We can't control what's going to unfold. And we know that, nothing stays the same. Everything is changing all the time, but it doesn't mean that you're not allowed to be happy or be peaceful or be calm, that you have to constantly be on edge and ready to expect the worst from every good situation that you're in. I just want to remind you that it's okay to be afraid and allow yourself to be sad about it and like cry about the fact that you've had to feel that the joy and the peace was constantly ruined. There's a grief in that. There's a grief in how a child is not allowed to be happy and to be peaceful, that something is always ruining it. But also remember that you are allowed to be happy. You are allowed to really just swim in that happiness, dance with that happiness, and the same with peace and rest. You're allowed to be there. I hope you allowed yourself that because you deserve it, and trust yourself. Trust that your root is strong. Trust that your root system is strong. Trust that no matter what comes your way, you're gonna be okay and you're gonna be able to handle it. You are able to handle it. You've overcome so much. And fear is just something that exists in our head and in, the future or the past. When we ground ourselves in the present, then we also become more peaceful and less anxious, less fearful. Fear is in our minds, and then it manifests in the body as symptoms. But it is something that is, in a way, not physical, but then it becomes physical. But if you can step in and allow yourself to express that fear, express that overwhelm, express that chaos, express that war that you feel, then you can start to actually release it in your body. And not just release it, but return to a state of peace in yourself. And if your body is in a state of peace and calm, then it's also a lot easier to just be there and be present. And if something comes up in the present moment, then allow it and express it. You don't have to bottle it up anymore, because you have created such a huge space within you to allow yourself to be who you are and to feel what you feel. And you're gonna be okay no matter what happens.